Hey guys, Insomnia here with some more AFK Arena. Today we are back with our Graveborn team and we are going over the top 5 Graveborn heroes. Very, very difficult choice when it comes to this faction because all of the heroes are relatively good in their own respect and they do very well in the tower, the Graveborn tower themselves. But I did narrow it down to the 5 that I believe are the top 5 in the Graveborn faction. So looking here, coming in at number 5 is going to be Oden. Oden, I believe, is very, very underutilized, not only in the campaign, but also in the tower. He has a lot of very cool skills, including the ultimate, which is the biggest one. Soul Burn will allow heroes to not cast their energy or use their ultimate ability because he will go ahead and steal their energy. Also level 2, as you can see, enemies cannot recover any energy for 5 seconds after this ability is used against them. So not only does it take the energy that they have, but for 5 seconds they cannot regain any energy, making this a very, very powerful ultimate ability. Since I have built him, he is super tough to deal with, especially with his furniture bonuses, which we'll go over in a minute. Other one is Eviction, which teleports, opens a portal that sucks enemies in with the highest percentage of health. The targeted enemy is then thrown out of the portal onto the weakest enemy target, meaning that he is formation disruption and he can actually stack multiple enemies together with this ability, because he'll essentially take a person usually in the 3 or 5 slot, teleport them onto another hero, not only causing 180% AoE damage, but stacking them together, which is very, very nice. So looking at the other abilities, Void Lightning does quite a bit of damage, recovers an additional 50 energy points every time enemies are struck. So again, building up his energy very fast to go ahead and do his ult. The ult will steal energy as well and prevent energy from being accumulated by the hero that it is casted on. And the final ability, which is the Eye of Evil. So Oden recovers 300, 1,000, 2,000 energy points respectively. One of the eyes will open after all 3 eyes are open. After Oden opens the first eye, the AoE effect caused by the eviction will now include a stun effect. The stun will last 3 seconds. So not only is a formation disruption, he has a stun effect, which is very, very cool. After opening the second eye, the ability Void Lightning will additionally target the enemy that is currently standing furthest away from Oden. So now he's going from hitting 1 target to hitting 2 targets. And finally, after the third eye has been opened, Oden's normal attacks will cause his enemy to lose an additional 60 energy points per attack. Meaning that if you can boost his haste up to have him attack faster and actually get these attacks out, build his energy faster, he is super, super tough to deal with. As you can see, they're level 2 and level 3. Oden's attack rating is increased by 15% and his casting speed is increased by 15% each time he opens an eye, with a total of 3 eyes, which again, if he scales, the scaling of him is very, very tough to beat. Then you couple that with his signature item. Each time an enemy uses their ultimate ability against Oden, Oden will retaliate against them with Void Lightning. Damage dealt is equal to 60% of the original Void Lightning output. As you can see, level 10 is 90%. Oden retaliates with Void Lightning even if he is slain. So if he does die in battle, the portal will still open for Void Lightning and they will still take damage. Plus 30 damage is equal to 120% of the original Void Lightning ability's damage output. So even if he dies, he will still continue to do damage throughout the battle because of this. His signature item as well does include haste. So not only does he have a built-in effect when his eyes are opening faster, but he does also have haste there. Coupled with the final, which is his furniture bonuses. Every time an enemy uses an ultimate ability, Oden will have his attack rating increased by 3% and damage received reduced by 3% until the end of battle. This ability effects can stack up to 15 times. So 15 times you can get your 3% bonus. Once the skill has been stacked 12 times, he is immune to crowd control ability. And as you can see, the 9 of 9, the effects of this ability now also apply to the allied hero with the highest combat rating. Meaning that if you're running him with a hero such as Daemon Team Comp, which is very, very powerful, Daemon carry on his own, he can boost the attack and reduce the damage that Daemon is taking if Daemon has the highest attack combat rating. He can do the same if you're running with Isolde. He can go ahead and increase the attack of Isolde. He can reduce the damage that Isolde is taking. Again, making him a very, very underutilized hero and coming in at the number 5 slot. So number 4, I am always going to go with Nara. Nara is an absolute key to any formation because of her impale ability. When there are no enemy targets in her vicinity, she will proceed to use her grapple hook to impale an enemy, drag them to herself. Then she will start actually hitting them and stunning them, which is this dismember. Nara hits a nearby enemy, leaving them stunned for several seconds, and then proceeds to attack them multiple times, which she will go ahead and impale an enemy, and then she'll start using dismember, which is very, very tough. Also, when a hero is attacking her, as you can see, a passive ability that causes Nara's attacker to lose 110 energy each time they deal damage to her. Enemies can suffer energy loss up to a maximum of 4 times within 10 seconds. So again, going to the energy disintegration aspect of Nara, not only amazing crowd control stun effect, but when enemies are attacking her, they are losing energy, so again, they cannot ult. Couple that with Oden taking away their energy. Very, very hard team comp to beat, which brings us to the final, which is Butchery. This is her ultimate ability, which goes ahead and gives her the big kill shot. Deals 110% damage, ignores the target's defense and invincibility. So if it is Brutus with his invincibility shield, it'll go right through it and kill them. If the target's health is below 40%, damage is multiplied 6 times. However, if the auto battle feature is used, this ability will not deal damage to any enemy targets with health above 40. So it'll actually wait till the target gets low enough. She'll go ahead and hit them with Impale, start using the Butchery if the ultimate's available to kill them. Level 2 is also very strong. Restores an additional 250 energy points when the enemy target is slain. If a summoned entity is slain, the amount of additional energy that are recovered is increased to 700 points of energy. If a summoned entity is slain, again, very powerful. But then you couple it with her signature item. When Nara discovers an enemy injured enough to be slain with her ultimate, she will attempt to use Impale and use her ultimate ability. So essentially, if you have a hero across the board, Nara is attacking someone else. If they are injured enough to be slain, she'll actually impale them and try to ult on them. Again, creating not only a very, very difficult situation, but it also messes with the enemy formation because she will actually impale people or heroes throughout the entire battle when they're low enough on health. Her plus 30 is really strong. The life leech ability is good to keep her survival. When Nara's health drops below 50%, Butchery ability will no longer require her enemy's health to be below a certain percent in order to deal high damage. So with her plus 30, if she's below 50%, she is going to max out her damage, even if the hero's health is not low, which is very, very important. I want to get her to plus 30 because now we don't have to go ahead and wait for heroes to be damaged to hit the high or make sure the enemy's health is low enough to do the ult. She will do the ult regardless because it does not matter anymore as long as her health is at 50%. Then, as we know, they did add in a very, very strong attribute right here. All enemies become terrified for 2 seconds after Nara kills an enemy hero with the ultimate Butchery. Enemies are unable to attack when terrified and will run away. This affects the entire enemy team. So all of the enemies, if they're casting his ult, if Verk is ulting, if Shamira is ulting, if anyone is ulting, it will terrify them, which is very, very powerful. Then, of course, the 9 of 9, if the requirements of the Butchery ability's high damage multipliers are met, its damage will be additionally increased by 450%, which again, having the 9 of 9, having the signature item, she will just kill pretty much whoever she ults, which is super powerful, having her come in at the number 4 slot. Number 3 is, of course, our crowd control master, Pharrell. Absolutely strong hero for energy disintegration. Again, just like we see with the Graveborn team, Terrorize is one of his biggest skills. Terrifies and stuns, as you can see, level 2, level 3, 3 enemies for 3 seconds, and summons an evil spirit which haunts them. The haunting spirit will go ahead and reduce the energy of the heroes, which is very powerful. Corrupted Spirit summons an evil spirit from a fallen enemy hero's corpse that will haunt them for 10 seconds. As you can see, level 2 and level 3, any spirits which are summoned due to one of Pharrell's abilities will remain on the battlefield for 5 seconds. So he can actually have spirits all over the battlefield with this ability up at different times. And of course, we do have the Accursed Arrow. Fires a cursed arrow dealing 140% damage. The cursed arrow will cause an evil spirit to haunt the enemy for 10 seconds. Any spirits which are summoned due to one of Pharrell's abilities will attack their target every 3 seconds. The number 3, the level 3, is really what you want to look at. Any spirits which are summoned due to one of Pharrell's abilities will deduct 15 of their target's energy points per attack. So every 3 seconds, they're going to lose 15 energy, which is very powerful, especially to really lock down the ultimate abilities of some of the heroes here. As you can see, the level 4, any spirits which are summoned due to one of Pharrell's abilities have a chance to interrupt their enemy's attack each time they attack, meaning every 3 seconds they can do an interrupt. Looking at the ultimate ability, fires a demonic arrow that hits all enemies on the battlefield, so he will hit everyone. All enemies that are haunted by evil spirits will take an additional 25% damage per spirit. Now remember that 25% more damage per spirit. Level 2, spirits attack speed are increased, and then of course more damage. But now you look at his abilities coupled with the signature item. Normal attacks will cause an evil spirit to haunt the enemy if a critical strike occurs. This is why he is so powerful when he is behind Arthur, because Arthur will give him a 30% increase to not only the critical strike, but also to the attack speed of normal attacks, making him very powerful. Plus 30 ability, attack ratings of all enemies are reduced by 5% and health recovery rates by 15% for every spirit that is haunting an enemy on the battlefield. And this ability may stack up to 6 times, which is a absolutely huge reduction in the attack rating and the health recovery of your enemy heroes. But there's more. With his signature, or with his furniture bonuses, Pharrell's normal attack deal 12% more damage and cause targets to lose 12 haste points for every 1 spirit that is haunting them for a duration of 1.5%. So now, not only is he reducing the energy regeneration, he is taking away energy points, he is taking away haste, making him very strong. 9-piece, enemies haunted by 3 spirits are stunned, no longer have their haste reduced by normal attacks, which is absolutely vital for him having a 9 of 9. Because remember, stuns are what wins the stages, stuns are what wins the campaign. Very powerful, having multiple abilities in one hero to stun the enemy heroes. Definitely coming in at number 3, which brings us to our number 2, and I chose Isolde. Isolde was a hero absolutely nobody ever used. The forgotten champion was completely forgotten until we finally got his furniture. With his furniture, it made him very powerful, but he does have strong skills as well. One of the only Graveborns that do come with a heal. Hypodermic healing. Isolde injects himself, restoring 16% of the health he's already lost over 8 seconds. As you can see, level 3 restores 20% of the health he lost per second, which is huge because the Graveborn do not have any support classes at this moment. But he also does Needle Strike, which is a stun, charges a single target enemy, stunning them, knocking them backwards, stabbing them for final attack damage increased to 340%, so does decent damage. The Noxus Blast, when Isolde's health is greater than 30%, he will use his Noxus Gas, dealing damage equal to 3% of his own health. So the higher you have him in health, the more damage this is going to do. It also causes Isolde to receive damage equal to 1% of his own health as damage. As you can see, level 2 here is really, really the big one you want to focus on. A Noxus explosion occurs every 6 seconds, dealing 190% damage. Damage is okay. Leaving them stunned for 3 seconds. That is really the caveat here. Again, if you have Nara stunning, if you have Pharrell stunning, if you have Oden stunning, if you have Isolde stunning, very, very powerful team to defeat. Not only the energy disintegration, the attack rating, Isolde brings a little bit of healing to himself, as well as multiple stuns across multiple heroes within the Graveborn faction, which, of course, Toxic Transfusion, his ultimate ability. Isolde utilizes a powerful chemical agent to immediately restore 50% of the health that he has already lost. So not only does he have his own heal with the hypodermic needle, but he does have the Toxic Transfusion, which will heal him already. Well, also increases his haste by 20 points and his attack rating by 35% for 18 seconds at level 3. So again, very, very powerful ability. But now we couple it with his signature item. So when Isolde uses Toxic Transfusion, he will also receive the effects of hypodermic healing, meaning that hypodermic healing will go into effect with the Toxic Transfusion, giving him a double heal essentially. So when he ults, when he actually uses his ultimate ability, it will give him the ability of hypodermic healing as well, giving him kind of a double heal. Very, very self-sufficient there. But the two big things to remember is looking at his plus 20. Damage Isolde receives is reduced by 50% for 15 seconds when enemies are slain while using his Toxic Transfusion. So if you kill a hero during this time, a 50% reduction is very, very powerful. Looking at his plus 30, Isolde cannot be controlled while using Toxic Transfusion. So essentially, if he ults, he cannot be controlled at that time, which again is very strong. But nobody used him until this point. Exertion, his furniture bonus. Isolde's attack rating is increased by 1% and his attack frequency is increased by 1% until the end of battle every time he loses 3% of his maximum health. As you can see there is no cap, meaning that 15% is not the cap, 20% is not the cap. There is no cap. So if he is in a battle and he is taking damage on a regular basis, he has his hypodermic healing, he has his ult that'll heal him, keeping him up, also reducing the damage that he's taking if a hero dies, combined with increased attack rating and increased frequency, bringing his own haste as well, making him almost indestructible if you can get him to scale. And of course, the 9-piece, the effects of the ability Hypodermic Healing become permanent after this ability has been stacked 45 times, which it stacks very, very quick. I wish they would add a counter to it. So from my understanding with the stacks 45 times is every time that you lose essentially 3% of his health, you get a counter. When the counters go to 45, he will go ahead and use the Hypodermic Healing and it will be permanent. So he will actually have the permanent heal ability over time, which again makes him very, very difficult to kill. That is why he comes in at the number 2. We utilized him a ton in the Abyssal Expedition. We've used him a lot in the campaign. He can solo teams, even chapter 30 plus, which is crazy, crazy strong. So the final one, I'm really torn between the last one because as much as I like Thorin is very, very strong if you're using him for the Thorin cheese. So coming in at number 1, I would put Thorin just because of the utilization factor in there and how strong he is. With his abilities, this is really the big one, is the retaliation. Thorin focuses for several moments before swinging the weapon at all enemies in front of him, dealing 140% of damage to them. 200% of the damage received by Thorin during the focusing stage is dealt back to the enemy. So he absorbs all of this energy when he's powering up. When he does release the ability, all of the damage that he has taken will go ahead and go out to the enemies, making him kill pretty much everyone together, which is the Thorin cheese effect. The other big thing is, of course, with his plus 30 signature item, Thorin cannot be killed in battle the first time. 2 times he uses retaliation. So the first 2 times that he's ulting, he cannot be killed, which again is very, very powerful. The Thorin cheese has no level cap, and that's really the big thing to remember. Players have used the Thorin cheese through the entire game because there is no level cap. There is no cap to the amount of damage he can do. The more damage he takes, the more damage he can shell out, which makes the Thorin cheese possible. So also looking at the rest of his skills, Domination does a little bit of healing, not too impressed there. Resurrection is the other big one, because when he dies, he actually comes back to life. Thorin is a hero you do have to kill twice in battle, which can be very, very difficult, because when he is resurrected, his enemies are stunned. Final ability, which is Taint. At the beginning of battle, Thorin curses an enemy with the lowest health for 15 seconds, causing them to suffer 70% of the damage he takes, which is very powerful. As you can see, level 2 goes to 25 seconds. Enemies receive up to 75% of the damage dealt to Thorin. So if Thorin is taking a lot of damage within the first 25 seconds of battle, you're going to kill whatever hero that the Taint ability is on, which I absolutely love to use in conjunction with Nara. So Nara can impale the hero that the Taint ability is going on to kill them twice as fast. With his furniture, it's actually being reworked right now. As you can see, enemies that are stunned by the ability Resurrection are drawn towards Thorin, again, making the Thorin cheese possible, bringing everyone together, nicely grouped, just like Oden would do. Nara does a couple other heroes to really, really make this team stand out. Everything is built around Thorin. With the addition of patch 1.50, the 3-piece will include a heal in there, which is very nice. As you can see, the 9 of 9, Thorin immediately recovers 150% energy points after he is brought back to life by Resurrection. Not really a necessity to have his 9 of 9, but the 3 of 3 will be very, very strong to go ahead and group up the enemies there. So Thorin, very, very strong. Like I said, he falls into number 1 just because there is no level cap. So many heroes use him in the King's Tower, in the campaign. So many aspects of the game utilize him just because there is no level cap when you're doing the Thorin cheese. The other honorable mention that I have not built here is, of course, Daemon. Daemon is very broken as a hero itself due to his blood shield ability, which is actually right here. Steals 18% of the enemy with the highest health value and converts it into a shield. Makes him very, very strong because he can shield himself and allow himself to live. Coupled with Soul Feast, his ultimate ability, deals damage. If already unlocked, the ability Blood Shield will be used against the 2 enemies with the highest maximum health value. While Daemon is using the shield, he will suffer 35% of the damage received by allies, but will not die. As you can see, level 2, Blood Shield has 3 enemies that it uses the ability on. Inanimate Companion uses Stitchy to attack the enemy standing in front of him 3 times. Each attack deals a little bit of damage. Again, the final attack allows the enemy to be stunned. That is kind of the big thing there, is the stun effect that all of these heroes are bringing. As you can see, the level 3, after every 9 seconds, Stitchy converts 150% of the damage he receives during the previous 9 seconds into health. So Daemon, again, has his own heal ability, which brings us to the Forbidden Power. Daemon deals 250% damage to the nearest enemy target, but also receives 120% damage himself. But there we go. The effects of this ability cannot kill him. So very, very powerful, coupled with his furniture again. Enemies that have dealt damage to Daemon receive 40% increased damage for 3 seconds or 40% increased damage for 6 seconds, which 3 of 3 is required. 9 of 9, very, very good to have as the honorable mention hero, because I know a lot of players do not have him built at this time, but I just wanted to look at the signature item real quick. You have to have his plus 20 signature item to really, really perform, similar to Isolde with the plus 3 furniture bonus. After using the ability Blood Shield, while the shield is in use, he temporarily gains 20% attack rating, 30% defense. As you can see, the plus 20 after using Blood Shield, Daemon temporarily gains 40% of the enemy's attack rating and 60% of their defense. This ability cannot stack, but that is a giant boost to the attack rating, because not only, remember, is he getting 40% of the enemy's attack rating, he is also allowing, through his furniture, the enemies to take more damage. So he is on both sides of the equation here as a win-win. Very, very powerful. Of course, his plus 30, the Blood Shield lasts for 7 seconds, which again is very powerful if you're using Daemon as a carry to go ahead and get his plus 30 signature item maxed out. But again, an honorable mention because a lot of players don't have him built at this time. So Oden coming in at number 5, Nara in number 4, Pharrell, Isolde, and Thorin, just because he is probably the most utilized hero that I have seen out of the Graveborn faction due to his scaling ability. And of course, the big honorable mention comes from Daemon. A lot of players that built Daemon do use him, but a lot of players, especially newer players, do not have him built. But very, very cool to see the Graveborn team and the progression they make. I cannot wait to see Silas. Maybe someday we will have a Graveborn support, but as of now, that is the top 5, in my opinion, for the Graveborn. I know Torn does pretty well. Isabella does pretty well. Grez, there's a couple other heroes that are pretty strong, but again, those are my top 5 overall. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.